to this episode of My Royal Nemesis. My Royal Nemesis finished obviously on the 23rd. I mean, I could have checked. I'm on that books right now anyways. I can obviously check the date, but obviously it finished recently, and obviously it had episodes an episode of 14. Of course, yes, the discussion was that it should have had 16, and rightly so. But then I feel like also with it's just you would have not wanted to say goodbye regardless. That's the whole thing. Like with a show like this, it's still not like, oh yeah, I feel like they tied everything together. Not like, oh, you'll be unsatisfied. They tied everything together in a good knot that's kind of like, okay, there's not really much that you're really missing in a way. Like obviously that can happen when you're like, yeah, when I feel like sometimes what they're doing sometimes now anyways with K-dramas, that's a discussion. They are getting a bit shorter, but then they're getting shorter and they're also getting like more rushed, and you can tell that they are. But I wouldn't really say that I felt like that with my Royal Nemesis. I just kind of probably in a way my main thing was like, oh, I just didn't want to say goodbye to the show because it was so good, and it was just literally like, oh, Cha Se Gye's leaving, Shin Seo-Ri's leaving. I was like, they're such an iconic couple, like legendary lovers. I saw the TikTok edit the other day. Yeah, legendary lovers. They are legendary lovers, and I was like, oh, that's why you don't really want to say goodbye. But anyways, even let's start off before I dive into all my notes. But obviously, I'm making a list which is called unforgettable K-dramas. I don't know if I've ever made no, I don't think I've ever made a K-drama list before actually in a way, because most of the time, most of the lists that I make actually are like, I usually make actually on Letterboxd, I make K-drama lists kind of basically like yearly recaps, but apart from that, but that's all. I don't really make any others, but of course I will say yeah, I will say that like this obviously more so is like a K-drama collection. I feel like, and that's what I mean. My Royal Nemesis inspired me to make one because I was like, well, there's so many of them, and there's just so many dramas I feel that you just revisit. Obviously, I will tell you guys actually three from the list because of course I don't want that to take up the whole episode, because we talk about Royal Nemesis at the end of the day. So obviously I feel like first one for me is Do Me At Your Service, and I feel like that's an unforgettable K-drama because yes, because Seo and also Park Bo Young, and Park Bo Young is good in everything. So yes, we said she is a standard. She is good in everything, and especially that drama as well. I don't know. I think it's quite a melancholy show, but I feel like that's what I mean. Melancholy is Park Bo Young's bag, so like yes, I feel like it's her bag. But this is the thing. It's so funny with Park Bo Young. I feel like her least melancholy role would probably be Strong Girl Boo Song. All the rest, they're all sad. But that's not to say I feel like she does that very well though. Like she gives something to these roles. So I think that that's very important. So obviously Royal Nemesis takes like two, but I'm not making this into a ranking list. It's basically just a collection list anyways. And then also I would say for number three would obviously be Lovely Runner. And as I was saying in the discussion of legendary lovers, Lovely Runner, Sung Jae and Soul, yeah, Im Soul, they are legendary lovers as well. Because what do you mean? And also, if you was to compare Lovely Runner and my Royal Nemesis, they both have this they both have the time component at the front of them as well. Because of course, like I guess Sung Jae and Im Sol, like they kept coming back to each other, and she had the watch, and obviously she just was, her goal was to save Sung Jae, like just repeatedly, and then obviously she just kept, yeah, she kept showing up and she kept just obviously trying to help him, and then they also like they saved each other. Like her main goal was to save him, but in the end they saved each other, and then I felt like that's also similar to my Royal Nemesis as well. So it's just that I feel like that just makes sense. Obviously I'm gonna add more to the list, but as I said, I don't want to like go through the make a whole list like in this whole entire episode, because we'll actually be here all day. Honestly we will, because there's so many good K-dramas to discuss. So as I said, we will be here all day, but actually let's get into what we're actually here for. Firstly, the kiss on the hand where her wound was. I don't know, I feel like I even did a video on my TikTok account, obviously on the Cine Shows podcast account, sorry. I was like, yes, not even just my personal account, but just actually the Cine Shows one, and I was literally like, oh my gosh, I feel like the kiss on the hand, like it's a scene that if I had to pick from all the scenes in the show, like I'd replay it on loop, and I would never get bored either. Also, let's even unpack that scene as well, because obviously the lead up to that scene is how what's it called? Cha Se Gye is like, oh yeah, I was about to do something, and then Shin Seo-Ri's like, oh wait, no, and then obviously she obviously pulls his hand, and he's like, oh okay, so now you've asked for it, and then he obviously then kisses her hand where her wound is, and she's just like, I mean, her mouth's not open, but of course she's obviously just frozen, and it's like, I would be too. Do you know what I mean? Even, oh yeah, before we even like exactly get into the notes, I mean, I already have, but we also have to talk about the plot anyways as well. Like, it's actually standard. Like, when you're talking about any show, it's just standard to tell the people what the show's about. But I feel like if you're listening to the show, you should like already know, like if you're listening to the episode, you already know what the show is, and that's why you're listening, because you love the show. But no, like I felt like the plot is actually like so good. I mean, so really, like, okay, she's not a modern day woman, like she's from Joseon. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll tell you the plot exactly in my own words. I always do that anyways, because I sometimes hate using like Google searches of plots, because I'm like, mine's way more interesting. But she is not of exactly, she is not of the modern day. She's a woman from Joseon. She also is like, I guess she was a court lady, but she then became like a queen, so to speak. I don't even actually know. This is the craziest thing. I actually don't even know what her rank was, because this is the thing, when we saw her story at first, she obviously was a court lady, and she kind of got the lead up to being a court lady, and then she was involved with the Grand Prince, and then of course the Grand Prince was exiled. But then after he got exiled, I feel like, do you know what I mean, she forgot about him, and then she decided to like go inside to the palace, like, well, like, yeah, the king the king obviously, which was his cousin's like reincarnation or whatever, but he obviously was like, obviously he got her into the palace or whatever, so there's that. But I feel like, again, that bit's a bit like messy to me. But anyway, then the lead up to it anyways is that they poisoned her or whatever, and then she died, and then obviously then she manages to get into Shin Seo-Ri, obviously, in the body that you know what I mean, in the body that she is in throughout the whole entire show, which basically in a roundabout way is actually her body. Do you know what, when we get there, we'll actually get there at the very end. Do you know what I mean? When we do the walk around, because this is what you're supposed to do, like we don't do the notes, but when we get to the way to the end, we'll come back to that though. Because I feel like also when you think about the ending as well, I also think about, I don't really feel like they even touched on it that much too. I mean, they explained to us like the whole past life Shin Seo-Ri thing, like they really did. They even, I guess they did it in like the penultimate episode, I feel, and kind of also the one before that. But then I do still feel like it was probably very much jumped over, because it was a bit like, yeah, they're telling us, right, her and Shin Seo-Ri did a swap, basically, because when we saw the underwater scene, it basically looked like that. Like, they both just kind of did a reverse. And then also, if you think about it as well, then you also have the ending scene where you see, like, I guess, yeah, they're their own versions of themselves, but in that universe. So obviously you see Kang Dang Shim and also the Grand Prince, and then they're together, and you're a bit like, oh, so this is just you guys is like the past versions of them, but like this is what I mean. So you have the past version of them, but then you have their current selves who are obviously living in the modern day. But this is what I mean. It's a whole thing. Like, I tried to wrap my hand around it. I don't know if I really did, but this is the thing. I feel like it's fine because again, I feel like it's fine because it's something you can actually just jump over. Like, do you know what I mean? Let's think about, do you know what I mean, the two main couple, if anything. Then that whole like I guess past life thing, but we're gonna discuss that more as the episode goes on. Cha Se Gye, Yearner of the Year. So yeah, that's what everyone's calling him. They're calling him Yearner of the Year. Yearner, I think I wrote in my Letterboxd review, I said Yearner of the Century. But yes, and then we're like, yes, in both centuries. So ironic. I mean, that I used that I guess that turn of words. I mean, I was literally like, yes, Yearner of the Century, because they're Grand Prince and also you in the modern day as well. Because this is the thing, the Grand Prince was acting like, right, he was acting so hot and cold with her afterwards, but it was like, no, you literally, I feel like he was in love with her, but he said to her that he wasn't, and I was like, but no, like, you was. I think I remember even when, still, because they were really close, and then of course they had that whole like betrayal thing, and then of course he was like, I guess he was showing her different stuff, and again, their stories are just the same anyways. Like, the past version is also the same as the present, because of course they're like, oh yeah, the Grand Prince found her and he found out, like, he felt like he found an alley, and then I feel like also in the present day the same things were happening too, because again, Shin Seo-Ri was talking to his cousin, the other one, Mondo, and then of course she also felt bad about the fact that she was betraying him in a way, but she also wasn't. Do you know what I mean? That guy, she wasn't betraying him. He was actually manipulating her. So we don't blame you for that. And this is the thing. We said yes, neither does Cha Se Gye either. He doesn't blame her either, because yes, it's like, I feel like the one thing about him which was so remarkable was just the fact that, like, he'd be angry, but like it wouldn't even be the type of anger that like you get scared at. Like, I just mean I'm not trying to say there's different types of anger, but I mean in the way that, you know, when a man gets angry, like, there's always a way that like, if you are in danger or if you're not. Like, literally, it's either one or two. Like, there's no other middle ground. But like, he was angry and you could tell like he wasn't really angry at her, and then I feel like he was angry at her, like, I guess a few times during the show, but again, the main thing was that he was angry at her like out of love. You know what I mean? It was basically, it was from love. It was not from a violent place, which I mean that most anger comes from. You know what I mean? So like, specifically because, oh yeah, no, in my video I was like, oh yeah, it's the kiss on the hand scene and also the scene on the rooftop. So even then, when he was angry, and then yeah, he was angry, and then also his anger subsided, and then he had his head on her shoulder. I was like, oh, what happened? Like, literally, what happened? He was angry, but it's like the anger just disappeared, because it was like, oh, like he said, oh yeah, I think, remember in that scene he's like, oh yeah, you're just stuck on my mind and you're making me lose my mind or whatever. He said something like that in that scene, and then obviously you could just tell that he was really just at his wits. And then of course I think, yes, and then also, well, she gets angry, this is what I mean, but then she gets angry, but he then manages to calm her down, as I said. Do you know what I mean? That scene, I said real love here. But yeah, like, literally, he's angry, she gets angry, then they come together, their anger is gone, and then they seal it with a kiss. I said, like, you know, the cherry meme on TikTok? That's the one. Like, literally just put the cherry on the cake. That's literally what that was. Like, okay, you're both angry. Now you're not anymore. I'm like, now you're not anymore. Everything's fine. Of course, this drama was so good that it made me change up my ranking list, which I thought was cemented. It knocked In Your Radiant season off the top one mark. And guys, I've been struggling so much with my ranking list, and I know sometimes I think with ranking lists you should probably wait at the end of the year because it's probably easier that way, but I wanted to start early because I'm always leaving things late. So I was like, yes, let's start early. And I think I started at the very start of this year anyway. I started right in January. And literally, I thought that, because obviously, like I said to you guys, In Your Radiant season was at number one for me, but now, I feel like, if I look at my list, I think it's gone to maybe around, like, 4 or 5. Like, it's gone down the list. Like, it's okay, though. It's okay. I think with ranking lists, like, I've said this before, because people always kind of treat ranking lists like, okay, one is better, one is worse, and I don't really view them in that way, and I don't actually do them in that way, if that makes sense. Like, when I'm doing a top 10, it's like it's the 10 that's the best for me, but I wouldn't really say like where they're placed like really means anything. You know, apart from like, I think 3 for me, like a top 3 in a top 10 list matters most for me, but anywhere else on the list doesn't really. So even for me, if I say something's at 10, that does not mean it's bad. And this is just how I guess I navigate lists. Ranking lists, I mean in general, but you may do it a different way. So I'm saying, like, In Your Rain season was at 1, it's now lower, but that doesn't actually mean that I enjoyed it. Like, it doesn't mean that I enjoyed it any less. Like, I actually think In Your Radiant season was really good. I do remember, I think, even when I spoke about In Your Radiant season on here, I was like, I think what knocked it off anyways, like in terms of my enjoyment, was the fact that, like, I wasn't so much like happy with, like, I guess the discourse that was happening at the time, where people were saying that I guess they were saying that he shouldn't have like lied to her or whatever, in the fact that he, like, I guess that he already knew her or whatever. But for me, I was like, that situation was complicated like so much. Like, it was such a messy situation, and I also feel like the guy in Your Radiant season didn't even ask to like be a part of the scenario. Like, the roommate just like the roommate just blended it, just span slack in his lap, and he couldn't really do anything about it. So I kind of felt like, oh, I'm not gonna be angry at the main guy for, like, do you know what I mean? And I know that, like, I know that lying's bad, but it's like, sometimes a lie is, do you know what I mean? You want lies to be really, do you know what I mean? To be, I guess, to only protect a person. That's what I'm saying. And I felt like that's what he was doing for her. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't really feel like it was, exactly, like, it was from a malicious place. So there we go. And then also, so yeah, again, for me, yes, that probably is why my Royal Nemesis was able to knock In Your Radiant season off. And also I guess, yeah, my Royal Nemesis is just great. But like, all in all, like, the actual show is great. I think if I was to try to remember my top 3 currently anyways on the list, I think it's my Royal Nemesis, and I think Perfect Crown, and I think The Wonderfuls, possibly. Yeah, something like that. But I mean, when obviously, do you know what I mean? When I do my write-up, you'll know. But I do feel like that's what it's set as right now. And I just feel like there has been a lot of good seasons this year so far already, so it's a bit tricky. I will say that. I don't feel like it's like an easy thing. I just do have to say that, like, I guess Cha Se Gye, like, I'm moving, or not even Cha Se Gye, sorry, Hyo Namjoon, right? We said call him by his name. He just did everything. He just did everything really well. So I feel like his acting has also made the drama that much better. Like, the show is good, but as I said, his acting makes it phenomenal. We're like, right, well, it's just like, we want to talk about your acting. Like, you know what I mean? How did your acting do? And again, if you say to yourself, the acting in this versus in your Radiant season, we're gonna say yeah. We're gonna say hold on, because I feel like the guy in your Radiant season, he plays a lot of puppy roles anyways. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the embodiment of like puppy eyes, puppy doe eyes, that's his bag. Like, I'm actually serious. He plays those roles all the time. It's kind of I don't know, I was gonna say stereotypical, but not really. But I meant like typecasting. It's kind of similar to that. So you're a bit like, oh yeah, I know you're gonna do well in this, because again, I've seen you in similar roles like that before. So, because I think I remember when I watched in your 8th season, I was like, it kind of reminded me of his role in, like, I think it was Nevertheless or whatever. Or, and then also there's that other show, Serendipity's Embrace, so it reminded me of that too. I was a bit like, okay, this is just similar to your other roles. So I was like, oh, you're not really doing much, do you know what I mean? But if you think about here and Namjoon, like, again, like, this is him actually giving his, like, he's actually giving his all. Oh, and I can actually feel that. I can feel that it's his all. I can feel that it's different. I feel like it's something, right, that he stepped into and it's new. And we're like, right, so, like, you're a versatile actor and that's great. And we, like, literally hope to see more from you. Oh, I said, I feel like in your Radiant season and We're All Trying Here are the most similar. So I meant in terms of, like, I mean, actually, yeah, in terms of just all three of these, I meant including Royal Nemesis, I meant in terms of, like, I guess the emotion that all three of them have. Do you know what I mean? In your Radiant season was quite sad. Yeah, in your Radiant season was quite sad. We Are All Trying Here was also sad, but it's very, eye-opening, very, like, do you know what I mean? It's great in that way, and that's why I'm saying, I mean, in terms of the sadness, that's why I kind of felt like, do you know what I mean? It's good. Because, again, if we think about My Royal Nemesis, like, this is a rom-com, right? But what do you mean the show starts out and already our main character's being, like, poisoned to death? It's a bit like, whoa, like, what's going on here? I was like, it is a bit like, that's crazy. Like, that's why I meant, I feel like when I was thinking about, I guess, all the dramas I've already watched so far, like, currently into the year, I was like, yeah, which ones really line up, I mean, to this? And I guess that's the only two I could really say. I haven't really finished We're All Trying Here yet, but I can still feel that, though. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting through that, but I'm saying I still feel like they, like, fit the most. This for me has everything I want in a K-drama: modern day, plus also Joseon, time travel and comedy and resurrection, and also past lives. Like what I was talking about that earlier. So yes, it has everything that I need, and actually it's my favorite kind of, because when I spoke about Bon Appetit Your Majesty, again, it's my favorite type of genre / like, I don't know, like / trope or whatever, but I love that a lot. You know, I love it when, you know, they don't make these, like, periodical dramas, like, real serious, because they always are. Like, I'm literally like, gosh, they usually are. And for me, they're always just about, like, overthrowing the monarchy or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? So exactly, which is a shout out to you, Perfect Crown. They're always doing that all the time. And actually, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, shout out to you, Perfect Crown, in the way that, oh yeah, like, that was Perfect Crown's main focus. But again, it did have that in there, so you're a bit like, okay. That's what I mean, is that you're literally your main focus with all this, like, royalty stuff, but it's like, let's do something else and make it a bit, like, right, I think a bit fun, I think a bit silly, because that's kind of what this drama did anyways, you know what I mean? Like, she got poisoned to death, but then she went into the modern world and she became an actress, and then she also had a meme made about her as well. So I was like, this is actually hilarious, this is funny. And I was like, that's also just generally what I want, I guess, out of period dramas, because this is the thing, actually, I'll let you guys know, I don't even watch much period dramas, and I don't know if I said that in Bon Appetit Your Majesty, but, like, I generally don't, like, I feel like my bag, do you know what I mean? My bag for dramas anyways is, like, it's very a mixed match. Like, I do like a lot of what do you call it? Yeah, I do like, okay, I like a lot of rom-com, of course, like this, and like drama, and and specifically specifically I love like action drama, or like, I guess, crime too, like, you know what I mean, crime K dramas. Those I love those a lot, like something like Mercy for None, or like Your Name, and also what's the other one? There's another one that's gone from my head though. There's literally another one, but I can't think of it right now. I mean, okay, maybe if we go back to when I said about Park Bo Young, we'd have to say her recent one, which is Goldland. So yeah, that one. Which again, as I said, has that whole crime kind of focus going on in it. I mean, just, you know, she's got gold bars and all that stuff. So again, it's got that kind of edge to it, which I just find very interesting. Anyways, back to like past lives. I love past lives, and how you are always destined to find the person you love in every single universe. Literally, that's what I'm saying. So even when I was talking about it earlier as well, just to do with I guess their past lives being together in their current time, I was like, yes, I do love that. Do you know what I mean? Even though, as I said, I can't fully comprehend it, or wrap my head around it, but I do think that it's very good, because, do you know what I mean, like, you're destined, you're fated, this is the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I even feel like, that's obviously what the shaman was kind of talking about, the whole fact of like, oh yeah, sever your fate or whatever, like sever the fact that, do you know what I mean, that you have this kind of connection with, like, right, with someone in the present day or whatever, and you have to sever the one that you have in the past. And it was a bit like, what are we talking about? Even when I saw this TikTok actually, where someone was like, oh, the shaman was like kind of the villain of this show, because it was a bit like, what are you talking about? And it was kind of in a way that you see, because in a way the shaman obviously made like Shin Seo-Ri go back. It kind of reminds me of it reminds me of Enchanted, like, so it's obviously, yeah, to throw in a reference, basically of Enchanted, and like, being like, go into this well, sorry, because that's what happens in Enchanted anyways, because you know the whole like biting the apple thing. The apple thing doesn't happen until later on. I do really love that about Enchanted as well, because they tell the story in a different way. That's great. So like, obviously she bites the apple, but it's like way later on down the line, and that's great. But like, my whole thing is like with the show, yeah, that's what I feel like with the show. It's like the shaman, like, you know what I mean, she was her main kind of, I feel like, guidance, or like helping her out throughout this whole thing. But then also, you know, the shaman comes when she's at her absolute lowest, and she dangles this in front of her, being like, well, do you know what I mean, you're gonna have to go back to save the person that you love. So it's a bit like, what, like, that is crazy. And then obviously, like, Shin Seo-Ri goes back, but she's kind of just in a prison of like of her own mind. Like, that's literally what it was. It wasn't even like, oh, she was going back to like, I mean, actually like live and thrive. She was going back to literally be in a vegetable state, and no one could see her, and she doesn't see anyone. Like, I was literally like, oh, this is what you wanted her to come back to? This is what we were getting? That's crazy. And then the only way that she could get out of that was exactly by Cha Se Gye talking to her throughout it, and I guess literally breaking down that wall, because of course she was literally in there, and it was actually like it was hard for him to break through it, but she heard him, and she was like, wow, I need to leave. Like, it was actually crazy. I do understand her being in that box though, because of course she felt like she was in pain and anguish, and she felt like he was dead. So I understand her being like, oh yeah, I need to close myself off from like the whole entire world, and that makes sense. And obviously she didn't think he was alive as well, so I love that too. I feel like exactly they were both grieving each other, and I was like, guys, you don't need to do that, because you're both fine. I was like, you're actually both okay. And oh my gosh, we'll get to that later, but yeah, we're gonna get to the note that I just remembered a bit later. While watching, I kept thinking about Shin Seo-Ri and the original Shin Seo-Ri, and I thought about thought about it this way, and how like Cha Se Gye is having the dreams of a past life, Kang Dan Sim has just managed to go into the body of her present life, if that makes sense. I view it like this body was always hers, like how Cha Se Gye was the Grand Prince or whatever, he just doesn't remember it because he's living in a different time and a new persona as such. And then, okay, this is what obviously I was saying to you guys earlier, after reflection, I think they should have touched on it even more, to be honest. By the ending, it's almost like they are their alter egos in a way, or just them but in a different time. So this is what I mean. I still feel like they could have right, as in like poke that bear like just a bit more because it's like, I don't know, like, you know, even the scene that they did where it had all the clocks, that was so cinematic and it was so good, but it was also still like, did it really make sense? But like, also, I don't know, I guess they told us, yes, she just came back to her body and now she's remembering everything, but it was still a bit like, you know what I mean, what, I don't know, what do you think, what made it, why was she not able to be in her body? Or then I think when they kept showing, I guess, the flashback she had of like the trauma with her parents in the car, it probably was a bit like, okay, she decided to go off to like this other dimension in a way to get away from her current problems. I mean, yes, and I'm saying like, I get that in a way because we all wish we could do that. I mean, it's like, do you know what I mean, you kind of wish that, do you know what I mean, if you have problems in your current time, that you could just create a whole new persona for yourself, and you don't even have to think about what's actually like going on. So I kind of think I probably do kind of want to think about it that way too now as well. That was just kind of obviously the theory that I had like during watching, and then obviously they told us what obviously happened, but it was still a bit like, yeah, does it really like make sense in a way? I love yearning and unrequited love. Literally, unrequited, that's my two bag. Like, actually, if we on top of this as well, like, of course, yes, unrequited love, yearning, and obviously just enemies to lovers, and that's literally like, that's the three main focus that this drama gives you. That's the big three. Literally, we said unrequited, yearning, and enemies to lovers, and yeah. But then I think I said in my video also on TikTok, I was like, I don't know, like enemies to lovers, it was great, but it was crazy because I just felt like, do you know what I mean, like Cha Se Gye didn't even, he was obviously, as I said about the unrequitedness, he liked her probably, I meant like, it's crazy because when you watch it back, or I guess even when I was watching one of the TikTok edits and it's like 1 to 14, I was a bit like, is there any, like, do you see any kind of disdain for her in these episodes? Not really. I was like, you can honestly see all the way from the beginning that this is a man in love, and then also it's a man in love who just, I guess, do you know what I mean, he's in the denial stage, but like, and then in a way where like, was she in the denial stage? But actually yes, she was also in the denial stage too, in a if she just took longer than he did. That's what I'm saying, she took longer than he did, but she was there though, and that's why I feel like that's why it was unrequited for a while, but I loved that it was. I was like, yes, it was unrequited for a while, but that was great. Like, it was just literally everything, because he would just come there, he would just show up, and then obviously she would just be like, okay, Cha Se Gye, go away. And then also and we're like in the scene when he's like, oh, what does this place have? And he's like, do you not have an umbrella? She's like, no, I don't. And then he's also like, he said, oh, let me hug you so you can feel something. And she was like, no, this is pathetic, please go away. She was like, no, I didn't feel anything when I hugged you. And he was like, okay, no, but you will. He was like, no, don't worry, we could try again. And I was like, yeah. I was like, literally, he just kept showing up and he was just persisting and he wouldn't leave her alone. And even actually when I felt like, exactly, when he wanted to give up, it was still like, oh my gosh, he was still trying to do everything, like, to show her his affections. Because that's what I mean, like, you think to yourself, okay, he said he was going to give up, but he didn't even actually give up, because he obviously showed up and yes, he showed up and saved her. And then obviously he saw the mark on her hand, and then he hugged her, and then because he was acting, obviously, yes, he was acting really cold with her, and then obviously then he still just had to show her yes, how he feels about her. And I feel like, isn't it, he confessed to her, what, I think it was like, was it like episode 4, or it was really early. I think people are saying that a lot, actually, that like these K-dramas this year anyways, like I guess the men are like, right, they're saying their feelings very early on, like they're not even waiting around. They're literally like, yeah, I like you, that's it. Because she asks him like, yes, very early in the show, being like, right, she's like, do you harbor affection for me? And he said, yes, I do. he's like, yes, I do. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I actually do. And then of course, I guess he just keeps trying to make her fall in it. And then obviously, I guess even when he was standing out in the rain, because obviously he was rejected by her, that scene was funny. And then he came back to his car and he was like, who did this? And bitches saw, and literally bitches saw's like now my favorite word. Or I sometimes do this a lot, actually, when I'm watching Korean dramas. I actually get like a favorite word, and I do it a lot. I remember when I was watching like I think Strong Girl Boo Song, like, yes, when I mentioned Park Bo Young earlier, I'm when I used to watch that, and I was really obsessed with the way that that obviously the main lead guy, I really enjoyed. I thought that he would all just say Otakaji, and I think it's like I always say Otakaji as well, because I'm literally like Otakaji, because it's just so like, I don't know, there's something about it. And I feel like Cha Se Gye similar, that's his word too, like it's his phrase, honestly. Bitches so, and I'm like, yes. I think actually my favorite time he said bitches so actually was obviously when she flicked him on the forehead. She picked him on the forehead, and he was like, bitches so, in the cable car. And obviously she was like, yes, I am. And I was like, oh, you guys are so like exactly like chaotic couple, because it's like, yes, yeah, you guys are both mad, but you love each other, and that's great. Okay, now we're at the part where actually I want to speak because yes, this was my prediction, and my prediction was correct. And I think, right, I made my prediction at episode 9. I needed to note that. So I noted down that my prediction was made at episode 9, and it was correct, because I said that it will end happily. And that I said, but I'm not sure, because anytime I watch a historical period drama, I'm reminded of Alchemy of Souls, and then Andor, which is something people are making a connection to, is Scarlet Lovers. People were talking about Scarlet Lovers a lot while this was on. And then, so I do think that something bad will happen, but the two will be able to come back from it. And then obviously I wrote in the brackets that my prediction was correct, because they both died in a way in order to live. Honestly, I was like, oh my gosh, I love it when a prediction is right. And it was funny because I don't even know, at episode 9, I don't know, I wanted to just obviously make a prediction, like just literally all in, just put all my bets in, but I obviously find it really hard to sometimes make them, because sometimes these shows are really like, I want to see, that's what I mean with K-dramas, sometimes they really are unpredictable, you really don't know. And I think for the longest time, I think that's why at like it being episode 9, like episode 9 is not even like early on in the show, if you think about it, because that means you only have only like 10, 11, 12, that you go for like what, 5 episodes left. But it's still a bit like, oh yeah, I couldn't make an addiction any other time but then, because I really didn't know what was gonna happen. And obviously when you think about Alchemy of Souls as well, because hello, Alchemy of Souls is the one everyone goes back to, like all roads lead back to Alchemy of Souls, because I'm saying, like, obviously Naxu died, but she was able to come back, so and that's the same thing, because I feel like that reminded me of that too, like the parallels of that. I mean, in the way that I meant Shin Seo-Ri got the arrow in her back, and that's, I kind of saw that. I kind of like felt that. It reminded me, yes, of when I suppose Naxu stabbed Januk, but she didn't mean to, because she was obsessed at the time. So there we go. But like, it reminded me of that, and I was a bit like, whoa. So that's why of course I was a bit like, oh yeah, I knew in my heart that something bad was going to happen, but I also knew that we weren't in for a K-trauma. So yeah. And honestly, a win is a win. Because literally I was like, yes, you got an arrow in the back, but it's okay, because you're gonna everything's gonna work out in the end. I literally knew that, and I was so glad that I was optimistic, because I would have hated to like not to be. Literally, you can always tell something K-trauma. And then I also feel like with this show, that's why I said about the unpredictability, it just felt like there was so many bad things happening as well, so you really wasn't sure. So it was crazy. Like, I meant, because even when the white van showed up, again, unpredictable, didn't know it was gonna happen, didn't expect it. I was just like, what's going on? The white van always shows up unexpectedly, though. That's the crazy thing. Even though the white van is something that's like overused in K-dramas, you still never know. It's just literally, it's just one of those things. It's so random, and you just never see it coming, even though you should. It's a bit like a jump scare in a horror movie. You should know that it's coming, but it's like, you're still, even when it happens, you're still a bit like, oh, like, I mean, you're still on edge, because it's a bit like, oh, I didn't expect for you to be there, but I actually should have. I should have known. And I just meant, because even the lead up to that scene, I meant, because again, it was just Shin Seo-Ri and his granddad just chilling. They were just speaking on a random, so it was a bit like, you don't actually expect it to even happen. I think a white van scene that I sometimes think about, or have in recent years anyways, is of course when when Seon gets knocked down by the white van. I didn't think that was going to happen, but then you kind of expect that one more so, because he was in the road. So it's a bit like, that one's more understandable, because he is standing in the middle of the road. So it's a bit like, well, you're just asking for it, aren't you? But I mean, if it's just two people having a conversation in the middle of in the middle of, like, I don't even know, was it a cafe or a restaurant or whatever in the show, then you're like to yourself, that's not going to happen, is it? It's a bit like, that is very unlikely. The kiss on the wound reminds me of the pocket spin from All the Boys I Loved Before. I think that's why I love it so much. And that was the comparison that I made. And I was like, yes, it is as good as that. And I think even in my TikTok video again, so I keep going back to that, but I was saying, I don't think I've ever seen, like, I mean, a guy kiss a woman's wound, like that before. I mean, I've never come across it before. So then for me, in a way, the only comparison I could make was literally the pocket spin, because I've always thought that was quite great. Like, just a little swerve of the pocket. I was like, Peter Kavinsky, you did your big one. That was great. So again, and it gave me the same thing. Also, I will talk about this as well. I feel like the entire way throughout the show, I kept feeling like this sense of, like, I don't even know what to call it. Maybe it's butterflies. Yeah, it's butterflies, heartache. I was feeling it all the way through this entire show. It's crazy. Sometimes even when I see clips, sometimes still, I'm still like, even I feel like I'm yearning. But that's what I mean. As much as he was, and it's like, I'm like, wow. I'd never really felt like a show could move me so much before. And then, like, as in, really, you look at it and like, wow, like, that is so romantic. That's what I'm saying. I think you do want to feel that anyways, generally. You obviously do. When you watch any romantic thing, you kind of do want to make sure that you are, like, I meant, feeling something. If you're not, they're literally doing a really bad job. Like, obviously, literally, yeah, they're doing a really bad job if you're not feeling anything. Like, if your emotions aren't stirring, if your chest is not hurting a bit, like, literally, that's what I felt. I was like, whoa, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like lightheaded. I'm like, gosh, this is crazy. Before I move on to the next note, actually, I feel like in terms of edits, my favorite edits, like, to come out from the show has only been Pretty When I Cry, and also I did like the Birds of the Feather one that everyone was doing. I mean, that was like for the like the last episode. But then also okay, yes, also House of Balloons. So House of Balloons, I listened to House of Balloons yesterday, and it kind of reawakened my I guess my weekend phase, because I had one like when I was really young. I had a weekend phase a while ago, and I was like, yes. I was like, this goes so well with this show. Oh, and I think on top of on the subject of edits, I was like, oh, I need to see an edit though with Paris, Texas. And then, do you know what I mean? I don't need to see anymore. Like literally, that will be the last one for me, and I'll be glad, because I'm saying all these edits are great, but again, I don't think I've seen Paris, Texas. But and of course, before I saw the Pretty When I Cry one, I was like, of course, yes, this needs to be for this show as well, because of like it's usually like what was it when when Namjoon like obviously got down on his knees, and I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, everyone knows what they're doing. I think editors, they're always in their bag with like whenever anyone pulls out an edit. I'm like, they're always eating. They never lack. It's actually crazy. I need to see Hyo Namjoon. So yeah, on top of that, exactly. So I need to see Hyo Namjoon in more male roles. His next upcoming role is said to be in 2017. I think it's like a periodic one, because I saw that he has long hair in it. In the meantime, I will be watching 100 Memories. But yes, because I've been seeing edits also about him in 100 Memories, and I was like, I was meant to watch 100 Memories actually when it came out too, but this is good, because I was like, yes, that means I get to watch something in the meantime while do you know what I mean, now while he's not acting, and like he's kind of on the like, I guess, right, he's riding the Royal Nemesis wave, and as he should, because that's what I'm saying, like the show did well, so continue to ride that wave. You don't have to jump into something immediately, but at least, do you know what I mean, you will be in the next coming year. I'm like, that is great. I can't be mad at that, can I? Do you know what I mean? The only time you can be is actually when you see that your favorite Korean actors going off to the military. Now that's when, do you know what I mean, that's when it gets a bit dark, because you're like, okay, now I won't be seeing him on my screen for like years to come. Like, oh my gosh, you know who that makes me think of? Probably like Song Kang. I feel like, even though we will give Song Kang some like little things, because he was in like Sweet Home and like My Demon, but those shows feel like so long ago. I don't know why, they just feel like they were long ago, even though they weren't. Like My Demon, I think I was in like 2023, and then I feel like Sweet Home was probably 2024/2023, so it's a bit like, and then oh yeah, Hyo Namjoon was in Sweet Home as well. So yeah, just throw him in there. But yes, he was in that too. But I do feel like, again, when it goes to like Song Kang, yes, I haven't seen him in a long time, and also specifically Nam Joo Hyuk as well. But he's gonna be on our screens in about a month as well, so we have that to look forward to, because obviously he's gonna be in the new drama called East Palace. Oh, my note in terms of the entire show is Mondo getting arrested isn't enough, because he was on Se Gye's back ever since they were little, and he caused Seo-Ri and the chairman to almost die with that white van. Literally, I was like, why do they always, this is the thing, I'm telling you, K-dramas do this a lot, but they don't ever sometimes really give their villains, like, yeah, they don't they don't do enough for me, I don't think. Like, there's a bit more you could do, like, you could push it to that extra mark, and that would be great. And and no, the thing that annoyed me about Mondo is because you knew he was evil like from the very beginning. Like when they showed us that flashback of them as kids, and then like, what was it? I think what was it? Something dropped on the floor, and then obviously Mondo was like, oh, and then he started crying, and he was like, oh, like, Se Gye, why did you do that? And I was like, sorry, what just happened? What just happened? Like, he went on to say, and then his hand was bleeding, and I was like, sorry, that was your fault. And then obviously you were like, oh, you could see, you could understand, and like, just what I mean, like, oh, you know when people say, oh yeah, there were no signs, we're like, yeah, there was signs. We know about you. Like, he was actually evil from young. Like, I just thought, why didn't you guys, I'm like, yeah, you guys didn't watch out for him from then, and you didn't know that he would end up to what, like, grow up like this and want to take take the, like, the agency, or take the chairman role, what's it called, like, obviously try to kill people, and just just like continuously just do crazy things. And I feel like also they probably tried to humanize him also, I feel, because he had a son, and it was a bit like, no. They humanized him with his son, but it was still a bit like, you don't really like that child though. I mean, yes, you're a dad, and of course when he was hugging his son, I thought, yes, maybe, but still, it just goes to say, when he's doing all this crazy stuff, like, that's what I'm saying, like, okay, you have a son, but that does not mean that you're a good person. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, you do stuff that, like, you have to do as a father, but, like, that's what I'm saying, that's literally the bare minimum, you're supposed to do those things. So I was like, I'm not going to applaud you for that. I'm not going to do that, because that, as I said, that's just all you should do. So it was really a bit annoying. I just felt like, yeah, I kind of thought, like, because I feel like sometimes with villains anyways, the kind of thing I guess the ending they usually sometimes get, sometimes they die in car crashes, and I feel like sometimes that happens in K-dramas. It's happened before, like, for sure. Or then sometimes they either get stabbed or some other thing, or they also blow up, I think, too. And I know while I'm saying this, you guys are like, wait, that is a bit drastic, bit dark, but yes, it does happen though, because I'm telling you, it does. I even feel like, I'm trying to remember, and like, because I mentioned Wonderfalls earlier, and I was trying to think, like, I'm sure the villain in that show died. I'm sure he did. So I'm like, okay, so why can't we get that just in general? Like, why can't we get that all the time? Like, you know, every single time. And my whole thing, as I said, is just about, like, the pain that the villain inflicts. So it's a bit like, why can't you get the same, but instead you're just going to jail? And then I even wonder, was like, okay, but I won't be in here long. And when he said that though, I believed him, because he's rich. So I was thinking, yes, you're probably right, you probably won't be in here long, someone will release you. I was a bit like, oh, that's a bit annoying. That means you definitely should have got another alternative ending. Okay, so unanswered question: did they explain why that woman who worked with Seo-Ri was out to get her? Was it just envy? Honestly, I need someone to answer this question for me, because I don't really feel like they touched on it either. And then I feel like in the last episode as well, obviously she spray painted her door, and then that's obviously just kind of what happened. But then it was a bit like, why did she decide to drug her in the first place? It was just a bit like, that was so random. And also Seo-Ri was so nice to her as well. And then also the one obviously who was from her same agency, she was like, oh yeah, like, Seo-Ri helped you get this role. And I was a bit like, okay, so now you're upset that she got you the role, like, for the place that you're at? You should be thankful. Like, I don't know why you're upset. That's what I meant. I said, yeah, is it envy? But as I said, I don't feel like the show explained it, so I was a bit confused where it came from. It was, as I said, it was very misdirected. I just didn't understand how it happened. Oh, Cha Se Gye's green flags. Yes. That sounds like, this is my favorite part. Sorry. So lashes out, but not at Seo-Ri, at himself. Like, when he was angry when she got hurt, but he wasn't angry at her. Right. He was more angry, exactly. If we unpack that, he was more angry at the thought of anything happening to her. Right. Next thing, the scene where Seo-Ri lets her anger out and he lets her unleash it onto him and then kisses her to comfort her. That's so lovely. Showers her with gifts and is emotionally vulnerable. Like, when he thinks he's going to lose her and his whole world falls apart. He was literally walking around like a zombie and he was so pale. And then, what was really weird to me though was when Seo-Ri came out of the hospital and she looked great. But then, like, but he turned around and he didn't look like he was back to his full health. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, this is what I'm saying. One of you looks more well than the other. But I was like, well, fine. I mean, you both had near-death experiences, but I was still a bit like, okay, fine. So, believed her when it came to the Joseon stuff, even though who believed someone when it came to that? and said, I'll believe whatever you say, just keep your eyes on me. Honestly, that's why I was telling you guys about that scene earlier, and that's why it was that scene and the kiss on the wind, and I was a bit stuck between those. But I'm saying those are my two because I can't I really can't choose anymore. So, and then in that scene he looked so down bad for her, and it was peak yearning because you knew the kiss was coming. Yes. And then the last thing, one of his green flags is that, and he's very obedient and needy and clingy. That's what I mean, the big three: obedient, needy, clingy. Literally, and he doesn't even hide away from that either. He's literally just like, yes. He's like, I think he said to her, as I've always been clingy and fake. What about it? He's like, what's new? You already knew that. So why are you pretending like you didn't? The way that Heo Namjoon acts with his eyes. Oh yeah, and his eyes and his eyebrows in specific. So literally, both of those. he acts with his eyes and his eyebrows, and they move, and I just think it's great. I've never seen anything like that before as well. Even though, actually, wait, yeah. Do you know? Okay, no, I was gonna say like something like Heath Ledger, I guess. So yeah, RE to him, but like as in, I always felt like he had this kind of like poor as an actor, but that's what I'm saying. I can only think about him actually in this scenario because I've never really seen anyone really like act with their eyes in that way. So it's like you're not even saying anything, but like your eyes are so powerful and they dominate like the whole entire like scene. Like literally the eye scenes of this show were like so good, and there was actually so many of them, and I was like there were so many of them, and that's why I feel like exactly they were so good. I mean I don't even know. And then another note on top of the one that I mentioned about Mundo was that my other note would be that there was no steamy scene, because we knew that Cha Se Gye was hungry for her and he couldn't take his eyes off her for a moment, but we were robbed. And then even when even the Namsang Tower thing was mentioned, but not in the way the viewers wanted. And then also I think specifically in that scene anyways with the like the cover, because I think the cover scene is a subtle way to let us know that it happened, and then we're a bit like boo, but we didn't see anything though. And then I kind of I still feel like with that scene in specific, I kind of reflected on like I think Perfect Crown, so of this year anyway. I reflected on that, and I was like, well, we got a scene in Perfect Crown, so what was that? Like, and did you guys see the BTS of the Perfect Crown scene? It was insane. Like I feel like Beyond Music and IU, they were such in a flow state during that scene. Like he was moving things all over the place, and then I was like, why didn't I get that in this? I was like, why didn't I get that in this? And then of course when I was saying you guys about the eye thing, it's like, that's what I'm saying. Probably like we deserved that because there was so many shots of him just staring at her, and then like sometimes obviously just staring at her lips, which you could tell that he was. So it was a bit like, okay, like we obviously needed that too. I was like, and this is what I mean, like don't make out the show's like child friendly. It's not. Like I was like, don't do that, because it's not. Like, you're not gonna tell me that it is, but I know that it's not. So I feel like we generally deserve that anyways. And do you know why? I almost like, oh yeah, we deserved it also because the show was short-ish. I mean, I said that at the beginning that they tied it together, but again, it was 14 when it should have been 16. So that would be my argument if anyone was to put me on the stand. I'd say I was like, well, I signed up for a really good K-drama and you guys didn't give me that scene. And then I'd say, well, and you also didn't give me this. And then obviously I'd present all my facts, and then they'd be like, well, they'd be like, well, we're sorry that we didn't do that. All in all, they stayed so hard you'd think they were a real couple of guys. And also because that's the thing, I think people have been talking about that as well in the last episode, the fact that like you could see all of like Heo Namjoon's teeth. Like he was smiling a lot throughout this entire show, but I felt like that last scene in specific was crazy because it looked like he was genuinely genuinely happy, which of course you want to believe that he's happy, but I meant like yes, like he's happy with Lim Jin Young, and I meant like that he wants to be with her. And I was like, but then I also say this, that I said, to be honest, that's 10-10 chemistry, because I said actors and actresses performance should always be like that, because it's like, yes, make me act or be delusional and make me think that you're going to live happily ever after. Like, yes, you do have to convince me of that. So if you're not, I'm not going to believe that like your characters are even in love with each other. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you can't give me that, then that's what I'm saying. How am I going to believe it in the actual show? It's not going to work. So that's what I meant. It was believable with them. So I feel like they, as I said, they did a great job, and they need to probably act together in another role soon. Or maybe just, exactly, we just hope in a few years. But fact of the matter is, it's sad because you don't ever really see I guess people who act together, I'm saying, you don't necessarily see them again in other roles, which is really sad. Like, literally, like, really, when I was saying to you guys about, when I mentioned Lovely Rana earlier, like, you don't see Byung Sik or Im Sol, or then the actresses, or the actor and actress, you don't see them in anything, like, again, like, as in, apart from Rana, like, you generally don't, so it's very weird. So, I don't know, I just mean, it's sad, because it's like, you think you'd want them to, but it's almost like, oh, like, you probably wouldn't. And then that's what I'm saying. With Royal Nemesis is done, it's finished, it's gone. It's like, oh, that makes us really sad. But then, of course, like I said when I started this off with my unforgettable K-drama list, it's good that it's just in the collection of that, because you can just go back and watch it again. I know I will be, but yes, you can just go and watch it again. And then I said in the brackets, I'm going to miss Hee Namjoon's smile every week. So yeah, but no, because that's what I'm saying. I meant his last smile though was, for me, it was, as in it wasn't as good as like the others. That's what I'm saying. I meant that one was more impactful than all the other smiles that we'd seen in the show. So it was crazy. He saw the painting and fell to his knees with how much his heart ached for her presence. And then, of course, to add in as well, I guess he obviously went to his granddad as well and was like, can you help me? And it was actually like, that's the first time that he was like, obviously, like, I guess, yes, that he'd asked his granddad for anything, and that he was also just, I guess, emotionally vulnerable in front of all of his family. He doesn't even like them, man. Oh, he doesn't even, sorry, I'm not joking, he doesn't even like them. So it was a bit like, oh my gosh, that is crazy, because I guess it's what you'll do for love. I mean, a love full of pain and sorrow, which makes it all worth it in the end. Doomed lovers, a bit like Januk and Naksu. So yeah, shout out to Januk, shout out to Januk and Naksu, shout out to Alchemy of Souls. And no matter the obstacle, love conquers. I love that I didn't know how much I was going to love the show, and it was an absolute delight that I didn't want to let go. I remember when initially I thought it was going to be about a guy and a girl body swapping. For some reason, it definitely exceeded my expectations. No, honestly, that was hilarious, because because it's funny, because it's like, the context was, I genuinely thought that this show was gonna be about something else, and it's like, that is crazy, because I was nowhere near close. But I'm not mad at that though, because it's good that I was nowhere near close, because that's what I'm saying, I enjoyed the show way more, even though, as I said, my idea of what the show was going to be about was just, it just wasn't close. I mean, I knew that there was going to be obviously some kind of body, as I said, some kind of body swapping, but of course I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be like gender swapping, but not like not like just kind of a Joseon woman and a present and a woman in the modern day. I didn't know it was gonna be a thing like that. I was a bit surprised. I was a bit taken aback, but again, yes, I loved it. And I think, obviously, did I say what my rating was? No, I gave it a 5 on Letterboxd. But of course, I feel like you already knew that. I was like, no, I feel like I didn't even need to tell you that, because I've already like made it clear about how passionate I am about the show. every time I keep watching anything that has like royalty or anything in it, I go back to the Apothecary Diaries because I miss Jinxie and Mao Mao. And yes, I've been feeling like there's quite a lot, but obviously I heard news about the Apothecary Diaries soon, like it's coming out very soon. But it's a shame because that's what I'm telling you guys. Even though I made this, this comparison to Jinji Mamo, it's true because nothing's been hitting for me the same. I do feel like this show did that, but the hole and like the void that I have, like I just keep like seeing, like even when you think about like C dramas and stuff, because they do a lot of like royalty stuff, and I'm like I can't put myself to watch it because I need Jinxie and Mao to get together because I do. I'm like, no one's ever, that's what I'm saying, no one's beating them though. And the fact of the matter is, what's important about Jinxie and Mao is the fact that they haven't got together yet. Like literally, I think that's the only problem. I feel like there wouldn't otherwise be this obsession or hyperfixation. That's what I'm saying. You generally wouldn't be as bothered if exactly, if they were already dating, if if there was like that, their relationship was going in I don't know, a fast direction. It's not, it's slow. And I don't know, it makes it sound like I'm not a fan of slow burns. I am. I think they're great. I'm like, yeah, I think they're okay, but of course if I was to choose, you know what I mean? If I was to choose, okay, if they were together, then great. Do you know what I mean? I don't think, as I said, it would be on my mind so 24/7 as it is. Lastly, his outburst about her leaving to protect him, and he said he never got to tell her he loved her, but it was blatantly obvious that he did because he showed her that throughout the show from episode 1 to 14, even the time she didn't receive his affection at first. Because honestly, that was the one thing I probably loved. I mean, how the whole entire show, as I said about the unrequitedness, that was one thing that really stood out to me in the fact that, do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like giving up, and and I meant that he was doing everything. And then, oh my gosh, I think the one thing that I didn't remember to put in his green flags was him creating the agency for her, because of course he was like, okay, no one else can control can control Shin Seo-Ri's career but me. And literally he said, I will be your manager, and I will control your career because I care for your best interests. He's like, no one else can do it because obviously all those other people, they're all weird. And I said, well, that's just lovely. That's just cute. And he also stood up, I guess, to the other people she was with as well, so her previous agency. And so obviously he stepped in and swooped in to help her as well. And also I do really enjoy, I was gonna say also their first meet was really good too anyways, because again it was so chaotic and so weird because of course he knocked her over with his car, and then they started fighting. And then obviously his secretary was laughing that they were fighting, and then obviously exactly we're like, yeah, that is it, literally that's how I met your mother. Really, that's how I met your mother coded. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But anyways, I just feel like, I don't know, I was gonna say, is anything going to be topping my Royal Nemesis? We really will have to see. I think I ended my TikTok video like that too, but I do think it is a really pressing question. I'm really excited because I mentioned to you guys about East Palace. I'm excited to see what East Palace will bring to the table, and where I will even fall actually in my ranking list, because as I said, my ranking list has been stressing me out, and if I have to peg down another show off my list, I'm gonna be so stressed. and I know that, like, you know what I mean, it's just because I just feel like it feels wrong, you know what I mean? There's so many good dramas, and it's like you can't have all of them on the list unless you want to make the list longer. But why are we making the list longer? Because that's crazy. Like, I feel like anyways so far for the year, I think it's been it's either it's either 13 or 14 for me currently, actually, but I'm not too sure. It's somewhere around there. So I was a bit like, oh, I don't even think I'm gonna need to do a 20. Like, it's not even gonna need to happen, because I don't even, that's what I'm saying, I don't even plan. I know it sounds weird. I don't plan to watch 20 dramas this year. Like, I'm not even supposed to. I know it sounds weird. I'm not even supposed to be watching as many. I know that sounds weird, like, oh my gosh, like it's some punishment, but I generally wasn't supposed to be watching a lot. And I do think I make it a thing yearly to try to, I guess, yeah, to beat the number that I have, like, as in, like, every year. But I'm not doing that this year. I'm not doing that this year because I'm just trying to handle my shows better. I'm just like, I know it sounds odd, but I'm trying to handle them with care, and like not keep, like, I guess, dipping and diving, but like, yes. Oh, lastly though, actually, anyway, before the episode ends, I will say that See You at Work Tomorrow obviously started on the 22nd, yeah, on 22nd of June, and I will say that actually, yes. I will say, like, at first, in the first episode, I will say that I felt like it was a bit of a slow, what was it, slow burner, but I don't mean them as of course, yes, I don't mean the couple in the show. I mean I mean the episode itself. Like, at first when I was watching, I thought I wasn't really, like, grasping it, and I didn't really feel like I was having that good a time. But then I do feel like with shows sometimes, like, it did pick up eventually. And I do obviously like the concept of the show in general. Like, I guess the fact that like, there's the scene in the show where obviously she's like saying that people just, like, do anything when it comes to work, and like they go in when they're sick, they go in, like, I guess they just, yeah, they just do anything for work. And then also she's a bit of a workaholic herself, so I find that very interesting. And then I guess, yes, it starts Seo In-guk, which I kind of feel like, yes, I'm watching the show for him, but I think, again, like, I feel like in terms of the show, I meant it will grow. I meant, like, of course, as I said, like, yes, you'll start something for a specific person, but as it goes on, like, I meant you'll find other reasons you'll find other reasons to tune in. Why would you just tune in for, like, right, why would you just tune in for one like, one guy, one actor? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I say knowing that that's why I started, but but as I said, that's why I started, but it's not why I'm currently watching. And also, I think they look great together. Also, what's it, aesthetically, they look great together aesthetically. They both have beauty marks on their faces, and I mean, like, Seong-guk's is obviously near his eye, and then the main actress is like, I guess, like, on the bottom of her chin. It's on, like, on the side, and I was a bit like, whoa. I was like, that's actually quite cute. And then I think I saw their shoots as well. I think probably for L, and I was like, yeah, you guys are eating this. You look great. Guys, I love the L shoots that I guess that they do for shows. They're actually so good. I was gonna say my favorite L shoot, I don't know, it's so hard to choose. I really did like the Atypical Family one, but it's hard to choose. There's just so many, and they're just really good. And I meant, it just goes to, yeah, you just literally see two people from a drama, and you see really how they go together. And most of the time, as I said, they look great. And you're like, they look great, and then you're like, well, maybe their chemistry is also great, and then that's what I'm saying, and then that just makes the entire show worthwhile. Like Royal Nemesis. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.